Alright, bet. Oh no, did it finally happen? Did I fall down the path of PokeMMO content creator to real money trading and cheating pipeline? No, not yet at least. But I did get a couple of questions about it, so in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I shiny hunt in and stream PokeMMO using 2 devices. Legally, so if you were expecting third-party macros or an auto-clicker setup, skedaddle, get out of here. The only cheats we're going to be using today is skill. And for those of you who are still on the fence, simulcasting 2 different accounts on one screen is allowed in the game. The cheating part would be if you controlled both of them using a single input or controller via a bot or an auto clicker, which we are not going to do today. So in real life, this is what my setup looks like. I have my main PC and a potato laptop from 2016 that's still on Windows 8. And on an average day, this is what it looks like when I'm shiny hunting. The right hand controls the laptop and my left hand spams Sweet Scent using a controller. I think a big question was, how do I sync it so perfectly? And the answer is I don't most of the time. Most of the time, because I'm preoccupied watching a video in the background, I miss the button a lot, but I just cut them out in the final edits. As for the motion itself, I've done it for enough hours to where it's pretty much automatic. The analogy I'll use is patting your head while rubbing your belly in a circular motion. It might be a little bit awkward at first, but in time, the motion becomes natural, right? And besides, this is like nowhere near the craziest feat in the game. I mean, we've seen people make 800 eggs on one shiny charm, and that was before the buff. So this is basically nothing. So the controller that I use is this Power A Xbox controller with 2 paddles on the back that I binded A and B to, which allows me to one-hand shiny hunt. Now, this is probably a good time for me to talk about the difference between an account versus a character in PokeMMO. Per PokeMMO account, you're able to have 3 characters, but you can only log onto one of them at the same time. So in this instance, Bocchie and Bocchie Bank can never be online at the same time without cheating. So you can have multiple devices with multiple accounts, but only one character per account on at a time. That's why sometimes you see PokeMMO streamers do Dittos, gym reruns, and shiny hunt all at the same time. It's allowed, but don't go too crazy with it. I believe one of my teammates asked the management team what the max number you can have on at the same time is, and I think they said it was around 5. Like, if you try the whole Absol Blog Safari Week setup in PokeMMO, they're probably going to ban all the accounts. So the last part I want to go over is how I stream 2 instances of MMO at once. We're going to be using OBS because it's the gold standard of streaming. This won't be an in-depth guide on how to use OBS. I know Rocket has a really good video on how to be a content creator where he goes more into details about OBS, but I'm just going to go over the specifics of my personal setup. So on the far side, we have our scenes, which I already made for the purposes of this video. I made a tester one, and then I have a display capture and an audio capture, just so you could follow along what I would be doing, but normally this would be empty when you create a new one. So from here, we are going to get our overlay. So you're going to click on the plus sign, and then you're going to do image. And I already have one made. I made this one on Canva, but really you could make it on any sort of like software, I guess. Normally you would just drag it all the way across, but just so you could see what I'm still doing, I'll just leave it in the corner. Okay, so now that we have our overlay, pretend that this is the full screen. We're going to get our capture of PokeMMO. So you're going to go back to the plus sign. Okay, you're going to click on game capture while PokeMMO is up. And capture a specific window, and that window is going to be PokeMMO, right? So obviously you would drag it full screen, but for the purposes of this, we are going to put it over our overlay. Just try to get it, you know, it's not going to be perfect, but I mean, you could try your best. And then by holding down Alt, I can crop it so that it stays within the lines. And that's our first instance of PokeMMO. So for our second, you're actually going to need a capture card. The gold standard is usually Elgato, but money doesn't grow on trees, and neither does Pokeyen, so I'm just going to be using this cheap brand that I got from Target. From what I heard, it's usually an investment to get a good capture card, so you know, whether or not you choose to skimp on that is a personal choice. So we're going to go back to our plus sign, And if your capture card is plugged in, you'll be able to see this video capture device. So we're going to click on that. And then it's going to show up as HDMI capture. And then we're going to click OK. So normally you would create new, but because I already have my own, I'm just going to click on add existing. I'm going to capture one of them. And I have my secondary PokeMMO, which now once again we are going to crop it so that it looks nice. Well, nicer. And then you would crop it over your whatever you have as your overlay. So just like now, obviously my screen is frozen on my potato laptop, so it's not moving, but this is actually catching what's on my screen right now. And that's how you do it. A little scuffed because it was a demo, but that's how you stream 2 instances of PokeMMO.